UFC 268. These are the full card predictions and the betting breakdown. Looking forward to getting into this one. Smash that like button. We need at least 205 likes. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn those post notifications on. Keep it locked in here at MMA Experts, covering the fight game in detail. And we got a damn good card we got to talk about. So let's get to the first fight of the night. Flyweight division. CJ Vergara versus Ode Osbourne. Exciting matchup in this weight class. I have CJ Vergara here. He is an underdog coming in. Lesser known guy coming off the Contender Series. Quick win, dominant work. That was against Bruno, Korea, and it was about 2 months ago, so not long ago. But Osbourne on the opposite side fought fairly recently as well. Lost to Manel Cape, got knocked out by a flying knee in that one. Vergara brings really big power. He's a striker that comes inside well. Big hooks, rip shots to the body, also strong in the clinch. Ode Osbourne on the opposite side is a rangy striker. He is a little bit taller and longer here than Vergara. He does fight well from range and comfortable out of both stances too. Now, hands can be a little bit low. He can be cracked by big shots. I think Vergara finds a way inside, lands some power strikes, and I do think he's going to knock out Ode Osbourne here. He's going to make it uncomfortable for him on the feet, and he's going to stop him in the second round. Now, looking at the betting odds for this matchup here, Ode Osbourne minus 157, Vergara sitting at plus 143. You'll find it varying around that. I like Osbourne to lose here, knockout, round number 2. So we have CJ Vergara for the win. Looking forward to this one, and let's keep on moving up. The next fight, Baghdasaryan and Bruno Souza. This is a good matchup in the featherweight division between two prospects. Souza stepping up for TJ Laramie, short notice replacement. I have Baghdasaryan here. Souza's definitely going to come in shape, and I do believe he makes it a fight. Both guys are really good in the striking department. Baghdasaryan, tricky southpaw, puts good forward pressure on you and slowly breaks you down. On the opposite side, Bruno Souza, comfortable out of both stances, fights well from range. Now, he is the shorter guy here, but the reaches are equivalent. I do think Melsic's pressure is the true difference maker here. I think he's going to beat him, potentially put his back up against the cage, start picking him apart. The gas tank should be ready to go, even though it's short notice for Bruno Souza. I think he can last the 3 rounds. I'll pick Baghdasaryan wins by decision, but if you are looking to, potentially bet that decision, would be a little riskier just simply because that short notice and the odds not even officially released yet. This fight is literally just announced recently today. Let's see here. Baghdasaryan, Bruno Souza. Minus 265, Baghdasaryan, Souza plus 225. I like the strong favorite, Melsik here. Souza's going to be a good fight, and he's a solid guy to sign to the UFC for this featherweight division, but I'm going Melsik for the win by decision. Let's keep on moving up. Next fight of the night, Aleksa Camur versus Gian Allan. I like Aleksa Camur's chances in this matchup. He showed improvements in that Nick Neguerumu fight. Unfortunately, loses it. Still, this matchup, I feel like a fairly good one here. Gian Allan's a guy who's pretty solid with his striking. He'll sit comfortably down on his shots and mix it up. Solid jab. Fights well on the inside with hooks. Camur fights better from range. He is the faster guy. Now, both guys young, 28 and 26 for light heavyweight. That's infancy, looking at the champion being 42 years of age. I do feel Camur has an advantage being lighter on his feet, moving better. It's going to be hard to put Allan out of there. He's shown durability in his UFC career. I'm going to pick Camur for the win, leaning towards decision here. Could be a late TKO if he really is able to put it together. I do think the potential is there for Camur, but I'm going to pick decision for Aleksa Camur. Minus 125, minus 112 at best value, plus 112 for Gian Allan. I like that minus 112 tag. It's not bad. I have Aleksa Camur win by decision. The next fight on this card, Villante and Chris Barnett. I have Chris Barnett here. Villante, not in the best of shape when he's at heavyweight. Now, Chris Barnett is no men's physique competitor, but he's a natural heavyweight. He's been fighting at this weight class for years. He's a thick boy. Now, he is shorter by a fair amount. than Gian Villante reach only 1 inch apart, and that's a factor. I feel like Chris Barnett will be able to get inside with big hooks. You look at the fight against Rothwell, yeah, it was a loss, but Rothwell is humongous, and Barnett landed some decent shots in that bout. He also fights out of the southpaw stance. Villante, Jake Collier was able to beat him in the last one, that Maurice Green submission loss. Villante's a solid striker, and he has a good boxing skill set and does have some power in his hands. I mean, he knocked out Corey Anderson at one point earlier on in his career, but he's super undersized for heavyweight. Chris Barnett is a real heavyweight. He's a big boy. He's short, he's thick, and he's going to hit hard. Chris Barnett, knockout, round number 2. I think he sleeps Gian Villante here. Now, let's check out the betting odds for this matchup. Gian Villante plus 105, Chris Barnett minus 107. The size difference should be a real serious difference maker. I think the power difference is real, and I think it's going to be Barnett stopping Villante. Villante 36, Barnett 35. Both guys, for heavyweight, I guess that's still youthful, though. At this point in the fight game, in the heavier weight classes, age seems almost irrelevant for a lot of guys. They can go into, the late 30s, and I mean, looking at the champ at light heavyweight, 42. Let's keep on moving up. Jordan Williams, Ian Garry. I have Ian Garry here. He's known as the future, training out of a great camp at Sanford MMA. Stylistically, the guy's an excellent kickboxer. He fights really well from range, nasty with his kicks, dangerous head kicks, and they come up really fast. On the opposite side, Jordan Williams is a good kickboxer too. He's got some real power in his hands. He knocked out Gregory Rodriguez, who's making a little bit of a back-end run in the middleweight division. Granted, good punches, sometimes they just land. Williams in his last 2 coming off losses. Imavov beat him, and then he loses to Mickey Gall in a fight that, I don't know, he was expected to give a lot better showing. This fight's at 170. I'm just worried with the weight cut, man. I know Jordan Williams is a diabetic, and that's why he would fight at 185, so he wouldn't have to cut the weight. Cutting the weight potentially has a big factor on him. I think that we're going to see Ian Garry stop him in the second round here. I'm going to pick Garry for the win by KO TKO. I do think should be fairly one-sided, minus 325, plus 289. I like Jordan Williams, but hard matchup, and he hasn't looked good at welterweight. Can't pick him there. Ian Garry for the win. Let's keep on moving up. Edmen, Shahbazyan, Nasruddin, Imavov. Really good matchup. Great matchmaking. I got Imavov for the win. They're giving Edmen Shahbazyan hell. This is a really tricky stylistic matchup. Imavov's rangy with his kickboxing, but he can wrestle too. I mean, Shahbazyan doesn't have bad takedown defense, but I do think Imavov is going to put high pressure on him, get inside, clinch him up, and get him to the floor. Striking-wise, I mean, I do think he'll have the confidence to potentially mix it up at least a bit here with Shahbazyan. Obviously, you can't get overconfident because Shahbazyan is a technician with his striking. Excellent high kicks, power in his hands, good setups with his shots, and he's a finisher, proven finisher. He's finished, a legit win over Brad Tavares by knockout in the first round. That's a huge KO victory to have. But Imavov, I think stylistically, is a really tricky fight. And he's also a high-paced guy and really athletic. Shahbazyan's gas tank is something that's in question, especially how explosive he is with his knockouts. I mean, he's a finisher. And I think that Imavov, tricky stylistic matchup, durable guy, going to go out there, wrestle him, make him work. I do think he submits him late in the second round, potentially in the third, but I think Imavov gets a finish in this matchup. Imavov, slight favorite, minus 117, plus 120. I'm going with that minus 117 tag for Nasruddin Imavov. Get some water in me, and let's get to the next fight of the night. If you guys haven't yet, smash that like button. It is Phil Hawes, Chris Curtis. It's a matchup I'm excited to see. I think Phil Hawes gets it. He should here. This is a rebooking of a fight Curtis took on short notice, so I guess good for him to get a little more training for Phil Hawes in. But Hawes, too well-rounded here. He's an explosive striker and a hell of an athlete. He was supposed to be the next big thing a long time back, and now he's at 32, starting to come into his own in the fight game and looking like a decent middleweight. Chris Curtis on the opposite side, superb amount of pro experience. You look at that 5-fight winning streak, it's a decent one. He's a solid fighter. Southpaw stance, patient with his striking game, and he does like to control the center well, but I think Hawes is going to put him back against the cage, bringing pressure. The power should be a factor here. I think Hawes will wrestle him a bit. Phil Hawes going to get the win, and I do think decision. I think Curtis can last, but he's not going to get the win here. Hawes minus 283, Curtis plus 270. I like that minus 283 tag. I got Phil Hawes for the victory. Let's keep on moving up. Iaquinta and Bobby Green. Talk about great matchmaking here between these two. This is an awesome fight. I like Bobby Green, though. I do think Iaquinta taking as much time off as he has. I mean, he had the back-to-back losses, then he took 2 years off. He was on a little roll of being consistent. I don't know. I just don't think that it's going to be great against a guy who fights fairly regularly. With Bobby Green, you look, I mean, good amount of fights in the past year and a half. Bobby Green's tricky with the striking. His hands are low normally, and he's kind of unpredictable too, which is going to be a real factor. Comfortable out of both stances. We'll mix it up in brawl. Iaquinta likes to brawl on the inside. He'll get a little wild with his hooks, and he's got nice flurries. Definitely comfortable out of both stances and has great movement, but I think Bobby Green will cut off the cage. He's quicker, better straight punching is going to be a real difference maker, and I do think Iaquinta will be hittable down the center line. I think Bobby Green will fend off any potential takedown attempts by Iaquinta. Bobby Green for the win. I do think decision here, and he's going to beat Iaquinta. Looking at the odds, plus 152 for Iaquinta at best value, minus 162 for Bobby Green. So in the favor of Bobby Green here, and I do think he gets it done, which should be a good fight though. Excited to see what happens between these two. Now, the featured prelim of the night is an intriguing one. Andre Michailidis versus Alex Pereira. Alex has beaten Israel Adesanya twice in kickboxing. This man is that middleweight signing that they're definitely going to try to push potentially towards the top. I mean, he's a nasty kickboxer, like high level. You look at his last MMA fight, he destroyed his opponent. He's got excellent range management, kicks very fast. Andre Michailidis on the other side definitely likes to strike. He's a bit of a brawling style, not nearly as technical as Pereira, of course not. But Michailidis can mix it up. Decent overhands. Will come inside looking to wrestle potentially, especially in this matchup. Now, big range advantage for Alex Pereira. He's taller by 4 inches, and he also brings in a 5-inch reach advantage. So from range, I think that's going to be a real factor. I think Pereira does pick him apart here. Michailidis, I don't think we'll have enough for Alex Pereira stylistically. I do believe the takedown defense will be there for Pereira, and the size alone, even if Michailidis has Alex Pereira's back up against the cage, he's 6'4". It's going to be hard to get this tall guy down from those positions. I like Alex Pereira, knockout, and I do think in the first round here, late first round. Looking at the odds, Pereira minus 239, Michailidis plus 215. I like that minus 239 tag. Alex Pereira for the win by KO here. I think he's going to knock out Andre Michailidis in his UFC debut. Let's jump to the main card, and if you guys have not yet, smash the hell out of that like button, and let's talk about it. Frankie Edgar, Marlon Chito Vera matchup I'm excited for in the bantamweight division. Now, I have Frankie Edgar by upset here. I think that the movement's going to be a factor. He closes distance really well. Now, Vera fights pretty good from range. He's a guy that's comfortable out of both stances, and I would say he is pretty nasty with those calf kicks, but I do think Frankie Edgar's movement will be a factor. He'll close distance, and I expect him to wrestle. Now, you need to be cautious of Chito Vera. He's no slouch on the ground, but I do think the wrestling advantage definitely lies with Frankie here, and he should try to use it. He's shorter by 2 inches. I don't think he'll have an extremely hard time getting into range, and if he gets into range, I really feel like get this fight to the floor, wrestle, use that to your advantage. So I'm going to go with Frankie Edgar for the win, and I do think he wins this bout decision, and it's going to be a potential entertaining one. Let's see. Frankie Edgar plus 150. Marlon Vera minus 158. I like that plus 150 tag for Frankie. We're going underdog in this matchup. Let's keep on moving up this damn good card. Great to have back-to-back fire cards. Shane Burgos, Billy Quarantillo in this fight. I like Shane Burgos here. Billy's taking a big step up in competition. it's hard, right? To jump from Gabriel Benitez to Shane Burgos. Burgos recently fighting top line guys in the world. Not an easy one. I think Shane Burgos' kickboxing will be a real difference maker. It's going to be hard for Billy to just go out there and take Burgos immediately to the floor. He's going to have to set it up with strikes. I don't think he has the technical abilities to match Burgos. Burgos throws shots from odd angles at times, good forward pressure, and really what he's improved on is something that I'm super happy to see. He's actually keeping his hands up. For the longest of times, you have this guy hands down all the time, and you look at that Emmett fight, he's getting cracked with big shots. Even though he lost to Edson, he showed improvement. I think that improvement carries over huge, taking on a guy like Billy Q, who's not going to be at his level. It's going to be Shane Burgos. He's going to win the fight, and I do think he wins it by knockout in the 3rd round, and I expect it to be pretty action-packed because Billy will bring it at the least. Minus 186, plus 175. I like that minus 186 tag. We're going Shane Burgos for the win. Now, the featured bout of the night. Justin Gaethje, Michael Chandler. Potential number 1 contender spot on the line, I'd say. Islam Makhachev's definitely in the conversation. I like Michael Chandler here. I think he's going to win this matchup. I do think potential Poirier beating Oliveira, that Chandler fight, won't be a surprise if that ends up happening here. Gaethje destroyed against Khabib. And now, obviously, Khabib is a destroyer, and he dominates everybody. But I don't know. I'm worried about the takedown defense here. Chandler can really wrestle his ass off, and he also has explosive punching power. Michael Chandler is the iron fist. This man hits with extreme power. He hurt Charles Oliveira badly and almost finished him in that last fight. Knocks out Dan Hooker in one punch. This is a killer. That's Michael Chandler. On the opposite side, Justin Gaethje is an animal. Really good calf kicks, huge overhand shots. He closes distance well. Offensively, he poses a threat to Michael Chandler, especially if Chandler is down to sit in there and brawl. I do think we get an action-packed fight. Gaethje will look for the low kicks. Think Chandler survives them, lands massive punches, hurts Gaethje, puts him out here. I'm going to pick KO. I'm leaning 1st round, late 1st round, in a back-and-forth chaotic fight, and I do think this might be one of the craziest fights we've ever seen. Both these guys, former champions outside the UFC. Gaethje, obviously the former interim champ. I think Michael Chandler gets the KO win, and I do think late 1st round, could see it in the 2nd as well, but I do expect a brawl without a doubt. Gaethje minus 177, Chandler plus 175. I like that big plus money on Michael Chandler here for the win by knockout. Now the co-main event of the evening, Rose Namajunas, Weili Zhang. This is the rematch immediately following Rose running through Weili in the first fight with a massive left high kick. Beautiful technique. I think Rose beats her again. Weili Zhang, known for toughness, good forward pressure, mixes it up with the striking well. Rose Namajunas is a technical striker, extremely precise, fights well from the mid and long ranges, does have a slight height and reach advantage here. I think she has a speed advantage too. Maybe Weili looks to wrestle, but it's going to be hard to get at Rose's legs and get her to the floor here. I think Rose Namajunas wins. I do think she will win. Knockout. Round number 3. I think she's going to sleep Weili later here in a competitive fight while it lasts, but she'll slowly pick apart Weili Zhang. 3rd round knockout. Rose Namajunas to defend her title over Weili Zhang and beat her for a 2nd time. Odds of this fight, minus 102 for Rose, plus 100 for Weili Zhang. So competitive, pretty much a pick'ems. I'm going Rose Namajunas for the win. Let's get to the main event. And if you guys haven't yet, smash that like button. It's main event time. Camur Usman, Colby Covington 2. So a double headliner of rematches. That's going to be pretty great. This was Camur's toughest fight. I do think Camur wins again, but it's not an easy matchup. Colby Covington brings that high pace and pressure. He's got excellent wrestling, so it's not like Usman, if he's getting touched up on the feet, can rely on that wrestling, getting the fight to the floor, or even against the cage. Colby Covington is going to be extremely tough in any type of clinch or wrestling situation. Camur Usman, jab on point. He does bring a 4-inch reach advantage. That's going to be a factor with his straight punches. I do think they'll be landing. Colby Covington will bring the pressure. I do think he'll make it a bit of a brawl, and I think it's going to be an excellent fight. It will be striking between these two wrestlers here. Can Colby outland Kamaru Usman? I don't see it. I think Kamaru Usman stops Colby Covington in the 3rd round, defending his belt again and trying to solidify that claim more and more that he's the best welterweight that has ever fought in mixed martial arts. Usman, he's a strong favorite. He's sitting around that minus 300 range at best value, minus 275. Colby plus 252. I do think 3rd round knockout. I do expect a fantastic fight, but I think Kamaru Usman, the difference maker is those straight punches, especially that jab. It's just a constant improvement. And I do think power for power, big advantage Usman. Colby Covington, volume puncher. Usman's going to beat him here. Knockout. Round number 3. Damn good card. A card that I cannot wait for. Smash that like button, guys. Let's get at least 205 likes on this full card breakdown. Keep it locked in. We got predictions coming out for Dana White's Contender Series on Monday. Tuesday will be Bellator predictions. We got weigh-in recap shows. We got everything coming, so keep it locked in here. Subscribe if you guys are new. Turn those post notifications on. Much love. Let me know what you think of the predictions. If you think somebody you might know will enjoy these predictions, share the video as well. Much love, my people. Thank you all so much. I will see you all in the next video. Peace, guys.